How do you tackle coloring a comic book? How do you avoid getting bogged down with each little detail, each little item that needs to be colored? Today, I will introduce you to the concept I call rough color. Hi, my name is Tim Larsen. I'm the comic book creator behind the 1970s era Grind-House style comic Mayfield 8. Mayfield Eight's a six-part adult grungy crime comic book involving a 17-year-old fry cook named Calvin Ryder who gets embroiled in a harrowing three-day odyssey of terror and death involving a violent biker gang known as the Banshees. Fans of Sons of Anarchy, 1970s era fast-action drive-in movies, or any Quentin Tarantino movie would love Mayfield 8. Links below in the notes on how to get my comic book today. Now about today's subject, rough color. Rough color is a Photoshop technique I use to lay down just basic general idea of color in rough mock-up style pages, usually in several pages grouped together. The idea is to quickly apply just blobs of the colors you want to lay down with the opacity level cut down to like 50%. This idea of going fast and putting in the color allows you to color your comic book page with curiosity, discovery, and fun, rather than going through the tedious drudgery of carefully coloring each tiny thing one at a time. The 50% opacity for the colors you lay down is key, as it keeps everything loose and fun, like a watercolor. You don't worry about the edges. Not yet, at least. That'll come later. For now, you just want to quickly go around and apply your dabs of color to cover the page. A bonus trick, and totally allowed, is to lay in large, very transparent rectangles tinted with one color or another to bring everything together and start creating the right mood rather than having a garish, noisy assemblage of color. Lastly, you want to be able to zoom out of the page, or in my case, of the page group, which I explained how to do earlier. Zooming out, you'll see that you're getting the right kind of look for your colors, something you should be able to generate in a day's work or even a half a day's work. It's messy up close, but that's fine. I'll show you later the process of refining that messy edge mock-up and bringing it in, tightening it up for your final layer of color. Let's get up close and I'll show you a screen grab of what I'm talking about and take you step by step of the process of laying in rough color. So I'm just beginning to color in these 8 pages, and this is an example of rough color. I obviously, started up in the upper left here with this is page 7, then we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And you can see how basically it looks like I started with doing the sky and the ground, and you'd be correct in saying that. And then as you zoom in to the first page here, I'm getting the color laid in, and like the rocks and the hair and the face, eyes, the details on each person. And then it's really a simple matter of, like the hair on this guy, and then going over to the other spot where the hair is there. And notice how I'm not really concerned with staying inside the lines. I'm just laying in the color. And even then on this state of the page, I'm not spending too much time on it. I'm just on the color layer, putting the color in, and you can see how it's starting to become something, but it does look a little bit, a little bit raw, and so depending on what kind of brushes you use, you can tweak these a little bit. Like let's say this panel right here, this state trooper guy, maybe I wanted him to be a little more in shadow. And so since I have all the color, on one layer here, this is one layer, I can go right ahead and on that layer add something more. If I take my brush and I have a setting here of 30% with hard edges, and if I choose, like, let's say like a medium brown, and this is, there we go. Just one pass with the medium brown, you can see how I kind of changed that from being so garish, like in here, to a little more kind of mysterious. I'll do it again to the big guy right here. So it's things like that, and tweaking the colors a little bit, and just when you zoom back, if the page starts looking like, you know, okay, that's kind of what I'm looking for, then you're on the right track. And that's really what you're shooting for, is when you zoom back, are the colors, you know, kind of taking on what you're trying to do. But it's always a good idea to just start out with just basically putting them in bright and bold at first, you know, and then going ahead and tweaking it a little bit here and there. And so it's a two-step process. You know, once you get the whole sheet of pages and the colors like where you like to have them to be, then this this color layer plus the gutters, I'll turn that on too, okay, gets ported over to another file that is going to define the edges of the color a little bit better and clean things up. There's also, what I have is a colored line layer, and you ask, well, what is that? Then here I'll throw in the black lines, you see that? And then we have the colored lines. That too is part of the color mock-up process here of rough color. You know, choosing, let's see, just real quick here, the colored line layer is actually, and I'll show this in a later tutorial, but just to explain what that is, it's a mask, masking off all the material that is not the line. Let me turn the mask off for a second. I can show you what I mean. Okay, so without that mask, it's really just all black at first. Okay, in case I didn't pick anything, just so it's not blank. And then where those bits are, I did go in and put in color. There. You can't see it too well, but like this dude's sunglasses here, I'll turn on. Okay, there's the rest of his face. And then let's say I wanted it to be more red, and oops, I'm sorry. There we go. Okay, there, see. Or I wanted it to be more purple. Purple. I said purple. There we go. Turn all that layer, and then okay, and so yeah, that's about it. That's the process where I think breaking down the color is this part's fun. You know, you're kind of painting and you're looking at the whole damn thing. You're looking at all 8 pages, and it's still kind of time consuming and counting the cleanup process. You're maybe looking at 3 to 4 hours per page when you add up all the time. And so you might save a little bit of time ganging it up, but I think it's a lot less tedious, because I would go nuts, you know, if you were just one by one coloring each panel, each item in the panel and getting it right, then moving on. See, what happens with that, though, is that sometimes you'll have a big change you accidentally made, and you won't realize it until you put the pages together after the fact, and you go, oh my god, I got to change something here so that the continuity is better. But here you don't have to worry about the continuity. Everything's together. And if you ask yourself, well, how do I start? You know, and what comes before page 7? Well, that's why I have this other special layer that's not going to be in the comic, but it's a color picker layer. This one, and that's kind of like a collage of important material in the comic of the same characters and their clothes and what color was the sky, because most of this comic book is taking place in the same 2-3 day period, and in this case this is the same day as the previous issue, so it's okay to have the sky the same. The sky is pretty much like a cloudless day, and about that kind of brilliant blue. So I hope that's helpful, and I want to conclude this by saying keep on coloring and have fun doing it. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Tim Larsen. I'm a comic book artist. I want you to know that your creative projects are important. The world needs them. And you only get better at your work if you keep at it and don't give up. Thanks for everything. I will see you later.